For those of you that is kind of panicking and saying, what happened to the preview for the midweek games? Well, if you guys would have followed me on Twitter, or if you, of course, look on my Twitter page, which, by the way, my Twitter name is the same as this channel name, you will know that, unfortunately, I did suffer a pretty bad fever back on Monday, and that, unfortunately, I wasn't able to recover in time to do the preview for the midweek game. So, yeah, that, of course, is a little bit unfortunate, but the good news is I will kind of make it up for you guys by doing the review for the midweek games on Thursday, and at the same time, I will also do the preview for the weekend games tomorrow, too, because we do have some Friday games this weekend, and that we do have El Tráfico that happens on Friday, so I gotta make sure that I have to do the preview on Thursday before El Tráfico happens on Friday. But that being said, since today is Wednesday, let's do a little bit of a news of the week kind of stuff. And that, unlike previous week and unlike these last couple of weeks where we had a lot of rumors and a lot of big signings that has happened, there isn't really a lot of rumors and a lot of big signings that has been happening in MLS in these last couple of days and in this past week. And I guess the reason that being is because once the transfer window opens, that's when we had that big splash of signings and rumors that is kind of gone around, and then eventually when that is finished and all done and dusted, that kind of did fizzle out a little bit in terms of some of the rumors and some of the signings that has happened. And basically some of the rumors that we've been always hearing before the transfer window open has been either been true or not true once the transfer window is open, which is why it's left with what happened in this past couple of days, where there hasn't been a lot of rumors and a lot of big signings that has happened. But that being said, there were still some rumors that were swirling around, and some big name players that were definitely the part of the rumor windmill. And the first big name player that were part of the rumor windmill that just happened today is that there is a rumor that Sevilla is trying to get DC United central attacking midfielder Lucho Acosta, and that they didn't say exactly what the offer is and what exactly is going to be the time where they are going to try to sign Lucho Acosta. But one thing for sure, if DC does get a good offer for Lucho Acosta, they will definitely be foolish to not decide to sell him off. Because, as much as Lucho Acosta, I know last season he had an incredible season, and that, he was literally minutes away from joining PSG and leaving DC United. And if it wasn't for the contract negotiation kind of broke down a little bit after the last couple of minutes of the transfer window, Lucho Acosta would not be a DC United player, and that he would be at PSG right now. But knowing the fact that Acosta has really regressed in these last couple of weeks and these last couple months, or even throughout the season, he has definitely not been as good as he would be last season. If Sevilla is pushing for Lucho Acosta and offered them almost the same amount that they might get for Lucho Acosta, the way that he performed from last season, there is no doubt that DC has to basically accept this offer. Like, as I said, Lucho Acosta, he has really regressed very badly this season, and the fact that, if you're going to trying to still make a profit out of him and you get a good offer from Sevilla, there's no doubt that you are going to have to accept them, and that yes, you are going to lose a little bit of kind of depth in terms of that attacking piece, but there's no doubt that with the way that Lucho Acosta has been performing and that he has not been performing as well as he did last season, I doubt that they're going to lose a lot of attacking threat going forward on that attack. And especially the fact that I think DC needs to have some new blood in terms of that attack and just need some new signings to try to get that goal scoring happen again for DC, and also get some fresh new kind of attacking pieces on that team. If they can, of course, get a good offer from Lucho Acosta and they make a profit out of that, they can use that profit in terms of getting those attacking pieces. Now, one attacking pieces that DC have started to looking to try to get is that they're actually looking to try to get Las Palmas Argentine winger Mateo Garcia, and I don't really know a lot about this guy and whether or not if he's going to bring a lot to the attacking kind of threat that DC kind of really needs after they have really struggled in terms of scoring goals in these last couple of weeks. One thing that really kind of, like, when I read this report, one thing that really kind of immediately popped into my mind was Yamil Assad. And the fact that, you remember how Yamil Assad last year, he had a chance to stay at DC if DC would have exercised the option to buy offer from the Argentine club that was loaning him off to DC, and the fact that DC did not exercise that option, which was definitely a little bit of a surprise considering the fact that Assad was doing very well for DC last season. Yeah, that really makes me wonder why in the world did they not decide to think about getting Yamil Assad and bring him back to DC United. And that I also heard that DC still has his MLS rights, so they are not really going to pay as much as they would get if they don't really have his MLS right anymore. And that I'm assuming they probably will be paying almost around the same amount that they would get him if they had the option to buy offer. And that why not just get him instead of that fact that he's a guy that has been proven to you that he can score goals and also give you a couple of assists in some crucial games. And instead of just trying to get a Las Palmas Argentine winger Mateo Garcia that you don't know much about him, and he currently is playing in the second division of La Liga, and that the second division of La Liga is definitely quality, but again, you don't know a lot about Mateo Garcia, and you don't know if he's going to be a player that can really be a difference maker in that attacking end. So yeah, that is kind of an interesting kind of move that DC is going to try to approach. But, there's no doubt that we'll see if this deal, of course, would happen. And I have also heard there are rumors that they are thinking about trying to get Yamil Assad back to DC United. But there hasn't really been an official report on MLSsoccer.com or even on any website that rumor has been true. But moving on, another big name player in MLS that is rumored to try to be departing MLS and going to Europe is Aaron Long. So he has started to drawing some transfer offer from a lot of Premier League teams, and the article that was reporting this rumor didn't really give a lot of information of what exactly the transfer offer is and what exactly the team that which Premier League team is looking to trying to get Aaron Long. But one thing for sure is that, like I said with the DC United kind of situation, I think for the Red Bulls, if they can sell Aaron Long on a good profit and that they can, of course, sell him off to a Premier League team, then there is no doubt that they are going to do that. Because remember, last year when they were trying to sell a couple of their key player to some European team, Aaron Long alongside with Tyler Adams were the two prime target of going to Europe, and that they of course were going to sell them all for a profit. Now they didn't get a profit off of Tyler Adams when they sold him off to RB Leipzig, but if they can sell him off to a Premier League team, and that if they do get a good offer for Aaron Long to sell him off to a Premier League team, then they of course would make a profit out of that. And that, I think for Aaron Long, it's good that if he if there is offer from a couple of the Premier League team that want him to his service, then I think it's definitely good for him. And it's also good for the U.S. men's national team too, because he is one of the guys that has been kind of rumored to maybe be a starters in the U.S. men's national team. And I'm not saying that, MLS kind of center back is not enough quality to be kind of a starting center back for the U.S. men's national team, but it's clear that most of our players in the U.S. men's national team need to try to get not only be a quality player, but they need to be kind of like a quality player and be kind of a player that make a big impact when they do, of course, play in those big 5 kind of European league, and with Aaron Long drawing interest to the Premier League, this would be a perfect ideal situation for him. Now, Jefferson Savarino, of course, win Player of the Week honor, and he actually he of course, as we have talked about in the past couple of weeks, is another guy that's been rumored to, of course, go to the Premier League, and that there are a couple of teams that is rumored to get him. And RSL GM Craig Wable has started to weigh in some of the speculation of him potentially departing to Europe, and he kind of said something very interesting and something that I think a lot of GM usually would say in terms of a big name player on their team potentially departing to Europe, is that he said that he is looking into all the offers that a lot of the team in Europe is trying to get for Jefferson Savarino, but at the same time he is not going to be really just kind of declare that they will definitely sell Jefferson Savarino, and that he's basically trying to stay neutral in terms of the fact that, we might sell him if we get the right offer, and that we might not sell him if we don't get the right offer, and that we will be happy if he, of course, stay with RSL because the team is really stable right now with the model that they're running right now. And there's no doubt the model he's mentioning is the fact that this is a team that has really built on because of the academy, and that this is a team that usually when they do decide to sell off one of their big player, they of course would get a good offer that can brings back to their academy. So that's definitely an interesting thing that's kind of definitely some interesting kind of remark from RSL GM Craig Wable. But like I said, I think this is not a surprising kind of remark, because I know most GM wouldn't usually say that, oh, we are just going to sell one of our best player right now, and that they won't just immediately declare to the world that, yeah, we're definitely selling him, or that we're definitely not selling him, and that we're keeping him, and that all these rumors are kind of false. And I think more time or not, we have heard GM said that, oh, we're definitely not selling him, and that these rumors are false. Then times where we say that, we hear GM said that, yeah, we're definitely going to be selling him, and we're definitely going to be making profit off of him, and that, I mean, we still don't know if this move would happen or not. It's still kind of a 50-50 kind of situation, that I think this move could happen, and that this move, of course, could not happen. Obviously, like I said, with Weibo saying that if there is a right offer for him, maybe they, of course, will decide to pull the trigger and decide to sell him off. And that they're kind of also doing something very similar to what I think the Red Bulls and DC United is going to do, where if there is a right offer to trying to get from one of their best player, then they, of course, will definitely pull the trigger and trying to get that offer and sell them off, and use that profit either to invest in their academy, or use that offer to trying to get some of their trying to address some of their biggest need that they have in their team. Now, speaking of RSL, unfortunately there is some bad news for RSL. Sam Johnson, of course, is set to miss 2 months due to a knee injury, and that of course is a big of a blow in terms of the attack that RSL has, because Sam Johnson has been one of their main attacker that has been scoring the goal, and that he's been kind of the goal scorer for this team. So yeah, that is definitely going to be a bit of a miss, considering the fact that he's now going to be out for 2 months due to a knee injury. Now, Breckshay is going to have to undergo knee surgery after he suffered a torn ACL against the Seattle Sounders, and that he is going to be done for the rest of the season, and that this is not only the bad news to Atlanta, but this just adds more insult to injury in terms of the injury crisis that they have in their defense. I mean, right now, that injury list for Atlanta is started to really grow, and that injury list that Atlanta has isn't just any kind of second or third string player, but we also have some important players, and also players that usually are play in one possession, but most of those guys that play in that one possession is all out, and that Breck Shea pretty much now joined the list of fullbacks that is currently out for this team, and I believe Atlanta is now have to rely on their fourth string fullback in this team because of Breck Shea going down with an injury. So yeah, things are definitely looking bleak for Atlanta, and that I won't be surprised if Atlanta decide to maybe trying to sign an emergency fullback in this transfer window to trying to short up in terms of the injury crisis that they have in terms of that fullback situation. But nevertheless, it's all, you always hate to see when a player went down and their season, of course, is done because of a torn ACL. So I wish Breck Shea the best and hope that he has a speedy recovery from his torn ACL that he suffered against the Seattle Sounders from last week. But that being said, moving on into the next news, we got Zlatan, of course. He will not be suspended for El Tráfico despite a yellow card accumulation, and apparently he will not be suspended for that big game because there is a weird rule, and I actually didn't know that this was actually a rule, and I'm not quite sure if this is actually an official rule, where if you pick up a yellow card earlier in the season and then later on the disciplinary committee said that yellow card is worthy of a suspension, well, if you, of course, later in the year pick up too many yellow cards, like what Zlatan is right now, then you will not be automatically suspended for the next game. And I don't know if this is a rule that MLS literally just made up right now just to make sure that we don't want one of the most important player in this league to miss the biggest game, or one of the biggest game that we are going to see this week, that is El Tráfico. But yeah, it's definitely very kind of interesting, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are not happy with this rule, and there's definitely a lot of people are saying that, oh, this is MLS once again trying to benefit the Galaxy and trying to kind of be kind of a league that just protect their superstar and trying to say that they don't deserve to get suspended because of a big game, because we're just going to try to make a rule up off the fly. But yep, apparently that is going to be the case, and I'm pretty sure LAFC will not be happy with this because they thought that they don't have to face Zlatan and that this will be just an easy demolition job, which it can still be an easy demolition job considering the fact that, as I'm going to talk a little bit later in the preview tomorrow, yeah, things are definitely looking very bleak for the Galaxy right now after what happened last week in the Cali Clasico. But moving on into the last two news, FC Cincinnati, of course, released their new stadium rendering, and if I, of course, can get the MLS Soccer app up and kind of show you guys this new stadium look. It's a very nice stadium. If I can, of course, find it. Well, of course, I've tried to find the stadium rendering. FC Cincinnati also agreed to extend Kendall Waston's contract. And while I know Kendall Waston is already 31 years old, and by the time this contract ends, he's going to get a little bit older, there is definitely no doubt that I think this is a good decision by FC Cincinnati to extend his contract, because Waston, as much as I know that FC Cincinnati defense has been absolutely garbage this season, Waston, I don't think is one of the guys should be blamed for the fact that defense has been bad, and that I think he's really been the most reliable defensive option that FC Cincinnati has. And as for the stadium, you guys can kind of see here, it's kind of a little bit smudgy there. I think that may be because of the fireworks, but yeah, that is basically the stadium. It's a very nice looking stadium that FC Cincinnati has. They said that it is going to be scheduled to open on March 2021, which is definitely great news for FC Cincinnati, because knowing the fact that if their stadium open in March, that means that most likely they are not going to have to suffer a situation that DC or Portland had to suffer, or even Minnesota had to suffer from this season, which is they have to start on the road for the first couple of games before have to play a home game, and that they, of course, will be able to play their first home game, either in the beginning of the March or in the latter part of the match latter part of March. I'm not quite sure why in the world I say match there, but the facility total capacity will be falling between 26,000 to 26,500 spectator, which is not bad. I mean, I think FC Cincinnati, they're averaging around almost that same amount of attendance, so yeah, that of course would make sense. They will of course have a designated supporter section in the north end with a steep 34-degree angle for 3,100 hardcore FC Cincinnati supporters. So I'm guessing they're basically just copying the same thing that LAFC and also Minnesota is having, where they kind of have like a little supporter section and kind of have like their own wall, and that's of course is where they're gonna put their hardcore supporter, and I guess that's what they're gonna that's where the Bailey is going to be for FC Cincinnati in terms of that north stand. But either way, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below if I have any other news that I miss on this board that I should be talking about. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.